thank you all for coming tonight. This really makes me happy to see as many people here as there are. I'm really proud of the show. I think it's very, very good. I think the work is terrific. So I want to thank the artists for being involved. Specifically Guy and Matteo, because they're here tonight, and Andrzej and Danny, wherever they are. Thank you so much for being involved too. I want to thank certainly Sean for bringing me over here to do this. This has been a great opportunity to create some shows here and get to know everyone that's in this room so far. And then I want to thank the writers, Gili, Nico, and Aaron for delivering such really high-class writing. I mean, I'm a writer myself, and I really think that they kind of stepped up and gave something very good. I'm very proud of these little booklets that we were able to publish on super cheap money, but I think they look great. And I want to thank my friend Amanda for doing such a great job with the design. So the idea tonight is just to kind of let the writers kind of talk about their work. Aaron is a philosopher by trade who has a very kind of pretty distinguished background in art, has been around for a long time, and has written extensively on it. And he is here now working on a book on an obscure German philosopher. Right? This is true. He used to teach philosophy. Nico is an art historian that's living in Berlin. Has written for various publications. We're very happy to have Nico involved in this project. He just has news tonight that he has a curator show in the fall, so this is exciting. And Gili is an art historian by training, or a critical theorist by training. She gave us this super wonderful first-person kind of account of, if you haven't read the text yet, what it's like to kind of have a real intimate relationship with a painter and the work. And she is, a bass guy. So there's, not much objectivity there, but the reverse is the wonderful thing, I think. So anyway, without further ado, I just want to thank everyone for being a part. This is a very special night for me, so thank you.
And thank you, Colin, for giving us the opportunity to build a wonderful topic to be here today, and also giving me the opportunity to think from three perspectives on this show, with three similar but also different trainings as backgrounds, and that we both independently looked at things here, and then each of us put things into words, and when I read the next few, and read the other ones, that we had actually also very similar moments sometimes, where we felt intrigued too, and what we felt was important, how to get into everything here. I think we agreed that we leave this quite open also, and we just really want to share thoughts with you, how we can read the text then afterwards and see how that came together. And the show, and all being on the portraiture, was of course a very also challenging moment for us, in that sense. There's just, if you look at the object that you have in the middle, or if you look at it's called this object or mask that you have on the wall, and how to make sense of these things in terms of portraiture. I mean, we also do very much, for me there were very much questions on the materiality used here, how much of the painting, some of the paintings became almost sculptural, and how much of this sculpture in the middle of Guy, for example, is almost just a manifestation of painting. And I think we both know this passage, and I said, for me, this object in the middle seems as it was filled with paint from the inside.
and also it's quite playful. It's made of sponge, and it's not like precise or anything. I guess I was thinking about it in terms of like it was trying to impersonate like a black and white picture in an old art book. I know Guy looks at those kind of books quite often. He flips through very sort of quickly, and it just felt like it was trying to like in quite a sort of sweet but with like good intentions, trying to look like one of those pictures in books, but it's made of sponge, so obviously it's going to look quite different. And I think that's what I like about it, kind of casual.
For me, that's something very dark and unspoken. It is sculpture in the best sense, because you see that there was one form and it was carved out of one form. So it's really sculpture in a very literal sense. But in the end, it became almost as if it was a materialization of paint. And for me, it has been very much of a burnt tree the whole time that's long lasted.
Yeah, I think that's true, but I think what I like about it also is that once you read about, because I think that's kind of the first impression also, and then when you see it's made from sponge, because it's this other layer of like this kind of wit, which I like about it. I guess sponge is quite light as well, so it gives it a lightness, which is like a trick in a way.
Did you know that?
I don't know if I have to read about them.
Is it happy? No. Is it happy or no?
No, it's not.
No,
it's like feather.
It seems to be thick, almost filled with pain.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that.
How do you guys think it relates to the poem that is in the exhibition statement? Or how does it, because for me this was the most difficult piece to sort of interact with, because it's so black and so playful. So it's almost like a black hole of faces or something. So it's very difficult to sort of tease out some kind of meaning. So I never really decided for myself what its relationship was to sort of the theme of the exhibition. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
For me, it was very literal in that moment. But we all, I think, just in a sense, spoke about this one moment about the onion speaks about how order could be something determined for him, and it's this moment when we get very close and get very far at the same time. And for me, this pretty much worked on that one. It's very close but very far at the same time. And so in that sense, for this momentary moment where suddenly things are still, nothing moves anymore, and time is somehow out of the game. For me that works, and maybe it was the idea of quantitative Rusha. So.
I think also as well in terms of the question Momentary Stay Against Confusion, which I guess the poet was talking about when you start out writing a poem, you've got like a vague sense but not like a real kind of precise plan, and then sort of things happen along the way and chance takes over, and then suddenly there's something. And I guess I was kind of thinking about it in that way, where it just seemed like it was started and then things happen, and I felt like it was about a decision about when something had like differentiated itself and then it's like an art object suddenly. You know, at what point does that happen? Because you could just carry on cutting away. Like how do you make that decision? Like what's that about? Which I find quite interesting. Like, is it about presence or something? And I felt like it was just about that kind of recognising that moment when something's happened, maybe the process, which maybe is like what Robert Ross was talking about when he talked about moment of clarification. Something that makes sense, or that holds itself.
I think it's interesting that you use the word recognition, because I think for a lot of these pieces, at least for me, when I look at them, I don't recognize anyone or anything, but there's some sort of recognition there. And I think, like Nico mentioned, Benny means aura. And for me, I thought about aura as well, but I thought about art's air. So he has the notion of, in photography, of an air of a photograph. So it's something that, at least for him, is almost indescribable, but it pulls him into the picture, and is so, something about the picture is so recognizable that it makes it, he uses the word knowing, which he then translates as essence. I think that's probably not quite right, but in any event, this is what he finds in the air of the picture. And so when I was looking at a lot of these, especially like Matteo's monotype here, there was for me a certain recognition there. And I couldn't quite put my finger on it, so that's why I decided to go with Bart's air essence. Because I think that's a way that portraits can reveal themselves to us. And in that way, they give perhaps a moment, a second or two, where we can just stop. And I guess in that way, be a stay against confusion or whatever.
But especially this moment of recognition, and especially from your portraiture, because this ongoing struggle since always. One important job, this moment that you, at one time, on the one hand, you try to do a portrait of somebody, so a specific person, and yet at the same time they should somehow incorporate something of the essence of that person that you can't see on the outside, but it's somehow in that one moment that you hold. And also the portraits look at us, it goes both ways. It's not only that we look at them, but they, and that's what for me happened with Matteo's monotype too, that I thought it's, and with this little connection to Walter Benjamin's idea of our clay watercolor painting, where this one has to look at all of us all the time, and we pile up in front of this. And we always think this is the first moment, the first moment of encounter. But this one is seen and all the time. And every time it comes to me, and thinks, wow, this is the first moment now. But actually it's tons of them. And I'd like to idea on using air very much from Bart, because I've tried also for a second to look at the studio in Horton, but I think air works much better.
Okay. Well, I think maybe the punctum, I think, is what pushes us to the air or something. I'm not sure the relationship between those two things.
Bart says in photographs, and of course it's a little tricky because photographs are a different story than, for example, painted portraits, but nevertheless, Bart says, very generally said, and maybe won't be happy if I sum it up as briefly as this, but you encounter a photograph in his studio, he says there's something of the photograph in general, the setting, everything that happens, and there's nothing that special to it, or nothing that draws you into this one thing, and it might be then another tissue item or something. And this is the one thing why there is something there. And this doesn't really work with painting in portraiture, for example. But I think in air works better, because there's some essence.
Maybe that's also to do with the way that, I feel like maybe with that sculpture in particular as well, there's this sort of sense of like its relationship to our history. It's obviously referencing quite a lot of like classic sculpture in there. But I think there's something sort of going around where there's that relationship at kind of the last minute. It also kind of, I think I wrote it gives it a slip, where so it kind of becomes autonomous at the last minute, which is maybe this is past with this idea of like a presence or an air or something. Because it has its own, it becomes something. Goes beyond its references.